going on, everybody? So in this video, I want to go over a very popular modification we use in our program for the kettlebell windmill, all right? Any of you guys who are familiar with kettlebell windmills or any kind of kettlebell training, you've probably seen this exercise. A kettlebell windmill is a lateral-based hinging motion where you load the arm over the top of your head. That's phenomenal for shoulder mobility and mobility of the hip and the thoracic spine, right? So what typically happens, you take a kettlebell, right? By the way, my left arm is my bad arm. Kettlebell comes up overhead, right? With the weight suspended overhead, eyes on the bell. What you typically do is you bend in a lateral-based motion, not sideways, because when you bend sideways, you're bending at the spine. You're bending laterally, which allows you to flex and rotate from your hip, right? But what happens is keeping this weight suspended overhead, I'm moving up and down under the weight to basically get a lot of shoulder mobility, a lot of mobility in my hip and thoracic spine, and you might not realize it, but the range of motion you're taking your shoulder from when you do that exercise is you're actually doing this with your shoulder. You just don't realize it because you're moving your body around your arm, then your arm around your body. Now, a lot of people look at that exercise and they say, Jay, that looks like a phenomenal exercise. Could you get a lot of glute work and a lot of leg work out of it too? I don't know if I can stabilize a weight over my shoulder. One, I might not have the strength. Two, I might not have the mobility. Most people's shoulder mobility is, to be honest, it's fucking atrocious. And to ask you to stabilize a weight over your head, like you just can't even get your arm in the right position. And then number three, I got a few clients where, you know, they're always going through some different stuff, like maybe they're not good in the heat, or they have different medical issues that they're going with right now, where maybe their balance is off right now. And let alone standing up and walking around, ask them to take a kettlebell and put it over their head and balance it. It might not be the right thing for them, just too dangerous. So, what do I say? Oh, you can't do this exercise? No, we find a workaround. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but it's a lateral-based motion loaded with weight, right? Well, simple fix to this, you can load the weight from the bottom arm. So instead of taking, like, let's say I wanted to use a 50-pound bell, I wanted to get more work from the back of my legs, right? From the hinging hip, right? Well, this is my bad arm. If I gave myself a couple weeks and I work back up so that I can get 50 pounds over my head. Right now, having not done this exercise, there's no way I'm doing it with my left arm. My right side, I got it all day, right? So let's say I still want to work the weight, I still want to work the motion, I want to work the sides of my body, work my hips, all that stuff. I just can't hold the weight over my head. So what I would do is I would load the bell from the bottom. So instead of taking the bell, putting it up top, I'm going to put it right next to my ankle, right? And what I'm going to do is go into that motion, I'm going to come down, I'm going to grab the bell, and I'm going to lift to the top. I'm going to come back down, I'm going to place it to the ground, and I'm going to come back up. So now, my arm is free up top, right? I don't have to worry about dropping anything or tweaking anything, because now, I'm basically doing a modified deadlift, pulling through the hips, and I'm back down. Now, I like to go for range of motion. So instead of a kettlebell, what I would typically do myself, I would use a dumbbell, so this way I can get lower to the ground, grab that dumbbell, come back up out of it. That's just me personally. So, easy fix to a kettlebell windmill, if you're looking to try this exercise and build up to it, is to take the mobility aspect out of the shoulder, we load from the bottom. Right now, Jay, my shoulder's are shot. I need to get the mobility in my shoulder. How do I fix that? You're absolutely right. Here's how we do that, right? What we do, find something you can hold on to with your arm. I like using TRX straps, right? Make sure it's secure on the wall. You don't want to have this shit slamming in the back of the head, right? And what I do is I take my kettlebell. It's gonna take you a second to get it in the right spot, but what I do, I put myself in a position where I walk out all the slack from my arm, right? So now, the TRX is behind me. It's keeping tension in my arm. So as I go through the lateral-based motion, my windmill, what is it doing? It's keeping my arm in that spot. So now I can train the stretch versus balancing the weight and holding it up. I'm working on the mobility of my shoulder, right? Now, I can either do this exercise by itself as a stretch, right? I'm here, I'm going through the exact same motion I would do, right? My kettlebell windmill, look at all that shoulder mobility I'm getting inside of there. Keep my eyes up and getting a great stretch right now. Let's say you still wanted to work the leg. I'm just gonna add the kettlebell, right? Or my dumbbell or whatever I'm using from the bottom. I'm down, I'm here, grab, right? And I'm up, and I'm in. I'm back down again, in, and I'm back up. My arm is up straight now, just like I would need to be able to balance the weight over my head. But now I'm getting the work from the bottom, I'm getting the stretch from the top, right? So eventually you could put the weight over your head, or for those of you overachievers out there, Jay, I want to do more weight from my windmill, but I can't hold any more weight over my head. Great, phenomenal. We're gonna do them both. One goes up top, that one stays there. One goes down low, I come up, and I got my windmill. And then I'm down, I'm back out. So now, you see my arms in the exact same position, moving around the bell, so I can balance it, right? Phenomenal shoulder blade exercise, right? Nick, get behind me for a minute. Come on this side behind my shoulders. You'll see as Nick comes behind me, Nick's my camera guy. Nick's doing a great job today. You see how as I go, watch my shoulder blades, right? Sorry for being sweaty, it's fucking hot out here, right? As I come down, you can see how my shoulder blades have to stay tight. Look what happens when my shoulder blades collapse. My shoulder blade comes down, the bell comes down. So even though you're moving your weight side to side, a kettlebell windmill, why would I want to do a kettlebell windmill? It's like doing a plank for your shoulder blades. Because the position you gotta hold yourself in makes you post-chain dominant. You hear me say that in all my exercise videos. You wanna be able to stabilize from the back side of your body, not so much just the front side of your body. You can do them both, but you don't wanna do just the front. This is gonna be an exercise that's gonna allow you to get your shoulders back in better position. It's gonna make you stronger. For any of you guys who followed any of my videos up to this point so far, you know I always say, whenever you're trying to figure out what's going wrong in your life, right? Whether it's, I'm not getting results in the gym, why do I keep getting injured? Why am I not making progress as fast as anybody else? Why am I always in pain? All that stuff. The two areas you have to look at on your body, the foot and the ankle complex, and then what's going on with the shoulder complex. Those two areas will tell you 90% of what's going on or not going on in your body, and you can figure out all the rest from there. So, kettlebell windmill is a phenomenal exercise for increasing your range of motion, your mobility, working on your shoulders, stretching your hamstrings, and getting back that side-to-side flexion in our body that so much of us lost over this past year being in lockdown. However, there is a little bit of a risk to it, and if you're at the point where you cannot safely stabilize this exercise overhead, rather than just writing it off and forgetting about it, the easiest way to do it is to modify it. Start with the kettlebell down low, find something like a TRX, or even if I was training one of my clients, I would stand behind them and hold their arm while they go up and down to teach them the motion. Now, another thing, I don't have it right here, for any of you guys who are looking to transition to, well, Jay, when I do the TRX, I'm good. When I do the weight, I'm all over the place. Here's what you do. I want you to visualize this for me, right? Instead of using a kettlebell, I want you to get a glass of water, a plastic cup, a plastic glass. I don't want you using fucking glass. I don't want you dropping this shit. And you fill up the glass full of water, right? So what I do, if I got something real quick. For example, I got this cone over here. Give me a second. So for all you lushes out there, you probably got some red Solo cups in your house. Everybody else, get one of your kids' cups, right? Let's say this is the cup. I'm gonna fill it up full of water, right? I got the cup over my head. I'm trying to work on the shoulder mobility without having to have something else help me out. Remember, we're visualizing, there's water inside of this, right? I wanna come down, keeping the glass of water upright the whole time, so this way I don't spill anything out of the glass. That's gonna force me to have to move my arm and rotate in a way that's very similar to the same position I'd have to be in to keep that kettlebell over my head. And if you start swaying back and forth too much, water's gonna drop on you. The water coming out of the cup and dropping on you is gonna simulate you losing balance of the bell and the bell dropping down. And it's better to have a little bit of water drop on you than like a fucking 18 or a 50-pound kettlebell. So that's another great way to transition into doing kettlebell windmills free form without any assistance. Take those two, 3, 4 variations. I can't remember what the fuck I just gave you. Take that information, process, chew on it mentally a little bit, try working them into your routines. A kettlebell windmill is a phenomenal exercise for really increasing your range of motion and eliminating pain from your body, if done the right way. Rather than going to the extreme and trying to keep the bell up top real quick, give yourself a couple weeks, build up to it, get that shoulder mobility back. You'll notice the better you get at kettlebell windmills, a lot of your neck and shoulder pain starts going away, especially for you guys that bench press a lot. You'll notice your pecs start opening up more from that, and you'll start seeing more progress with your bench press, because now, rather than being stuck here, sorry, something landed on me, rather than being stuck here and not being able to activate your chest, now your shoulders are able to open up again, your shoulder blades can activate. You start seeing a lot of chest results come back too. So guys, hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions on this, like I always say, reach out to me and my team. Send us an email, text message, DM, leave a comment below. My cell phone number is all over the fucking internet. I'm sure you can text me somewhere. And either myself or one of my coaches is gonna help you out. We're gonna reach out to you, answer some of your questions, and maybe even ask you to send us a 60 to 90 second video of you doing the exercise so we can see what you're doing wrong, give you a little bit of feedback, and give you some pointers along the way to kind of get you to where you wanna be. So, hope that helped. Thanks for stopping by today. See you guys in the next one.